Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these top 10 rare Abraham Lincoln pennies that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we're going to talk about a seemingly ordinary coin that might just be worth more than you ever imagined, the 1977 United States 1-cent coin. You might be wondering, how can a penny be worth anything significant? Well, in the world of coin collecting, it's not just about the face value of the coin. What matters is its rarity, condition, and sometimes, an odd twist of fate. So, stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll be shocked to learn just how much a 1977 penny could be worth. Let's start with a little history. The penny, or the 1-cent coin, has been part of American currency since 1793. It's one of the most recognizable and frequently used coins in the US, and over the years, its design has evolved. By 1977, the penny featured the beloved image of President Abraham Lincoln, a design that has remained on the coin since 1909. The 1977 penny, like many of its counterparts, was made primarily of copper-plated zinc. It was issued during a time of economic uncertainty and political change in the United States, with President Jimmy Carter in office. In fact, 1977 was the year the U.S. economy was recovering from the effects of the 1970s oil crisis. But that's enough about history. Let's get to what makes this penny so special. What sets the 1977 penny apart from its regular counterparts? Well, the key is its condition and rarity. Most pennies minted in 1977 were used extensively in everyday transactions, which means they've likely experienced wear and tear over the years. That's why finding one in mint or uncirculated condition is so rare. Pennies that have been kept in pristine condition, without any visible signs of damage or aging, are incredibly valuable to collectors. In fact, it's estimated that only a small fraction of the 1977 pennies remain in excellent condition. This is what drives their demand in the marketplace. If you're lucky enough to come across a 1977 penny that looks like it just came off the minting press, you've found yourself a gem. But there's more. Some 1977 pennies have unique errors or variations that can increase their value even further. For instance, there have been reports of 1977 pennies with misprints or irregularities in the design. These error coins are highly coveted by collectors because they are one of a kind, making them more valuable than a regular, error-free coin. The more unique the coin's flaw, the more valuable it becomes. You might be asking, okay, but how much can one of these pennies really be worth? Well, depending on its condition and any potential error or rarity, a 1977 penny can be worth thousands of dollars. Yes, you heard that right, thousands. A typical 1977 penny in good condition might be worth just a few cents or $1 or $2 at most, but in pristine, uncirculated condition, it could fetch much more. However, if you've got one with a unique error or an especially rare feature, you could be looking at a coin worth a staggering amount. In fact, some collectors have paid up to $56,000 for a single 1977 penny. That's right, $56,000. That's the potential value of a well-preserved or error coin from this year. So, if you've got a jar of loose change sitting around, take a closer look at those pennies. You might just have a treasure hidden in plain sight. And even if you don't find a 1977 penny with a huge value, remember that coin collecting is about the thrill of the hunt and the excitement of discovering something rare. Before we wrap up, let's take one last moment to look at the value of this little coin. If you find yourself with a 1977 penny in pristine condition, or one with an error, you could potentially be holding onto a coin worth $56,000. It's hard to believe that something as small as a penny can hold that much value, but that's what makes coin collecting so exciting. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you never miss an exciting discovery like this. Stay tuned for more insights into the world of rare coins. Top 2, we're talking about one of the most iconic coins in American currency, the 1-cent coin, or the penny, from the year 1974. Now, you might be thinking, it's just a penny, what could it possibly be worth? Well, hold on to your hats, because by the end of this video, you'll see just how much this seemingly ordinary penny could really fetch on the market. The 1974 1-cent coin was minted during a fascinating time in U.S. history. The early 1970s were a period of significant political and economic change. Richard Nixon was president, the U.S. was dealing with the aftermath of the Vietnam War, and inflation was on the rise. Despite the turmoil of the era, the 1-cent coin remained a staple of daily transactions, circulating among the public with little fanfare. But behind the scenes, collectors were beginning to notice that certain years and varieties of coins were becoming increasingly valuable. So, why does the 1974 penny stand out from the rest? What makes it special enough to catch the attention of collectors? Well, for starters, it all comes down to rarity and condition. Most 1974 pennies were used for their intended purpose, buying goods and making change, which means they've been subjected to a lot of wear and tear. After decades of circulation, it's becoming increasingly difficult to find a 1974 penny in perfect condition, but here's the catch: finding a 1974 penny in uncirculated or mint condition is where the real value lies. These coins, untouched by time and heavy circulation, are extremely rare and highly sought after by collectors. And with each passing year, as more coins continue to deteriorate or get lost, those pristine specimens become more valuable. What really drives up the value of the 1974 penny is the potential for finding one with a unique feature or error. Yes, you heard that right, error coins. Some 1974 pennies were minted with slight variations or mistakes, and these coins can be worth a lot more than a standard penny. Whether it's a double strike, an off-center minting, or even a missing element from the design, these error coins are extremely desirable to collectors. The rarer the mistake, the more valuable the coin becomes. You might be wondering, okay, but how much can a 1974 penny actually be worth? Well, it really depends on the condition of the coin and whether it has any special features or errors. A typical 1974 penny in average condition might be worth just a few cents above face value, but when you start talking about uncirculated coins or error varieties, the price can jump dramatically. For instance, an uncirculated 1974 penny could easily fetch anywhere from $10 to $100, depending on its quality. But what if you're lucky enough to find one with a rare minting error or an unusual characteristic? That's when the real money comes into play. Some collectors have paid upwards of thousands of dollars for a single 1974 penny with a unique feature, but the highest price ever recorded for one of these rare coins is absolutely jaw-dropping. If you happen to find a 1974 penny in perfect condition, or one with an error, you could be holding onto a coin that's worth an astonishing $56,000, that's right, $56,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe that something as small as a 1-cent coin could hold such value, but in the world of coin collecting, rarity and condition are everything. So, if you have any old pennies lying around, or if you happen to stumble upon a 1974 penny while digging through your change jar, make sure to take a close look. That little coin could be worth a small fortune, and you won't know unless you check. Top 3, we have something truly special to talk about: the 1973 1-cent coin, better known as the penny. You might think of pennies as just small change, but let me tell you, this little coin has the potential to be worth a lot more than you might imagine. Stick with us because, by the end of this video, you'll be shocked to learn the value of a 1973 penny could be worth far more than its face value. Let's take a step back and understand a bit of the history behind the 1973 penny. The early 1970s were a time of transition in the United States. Richard Nixon was in office, the country was recovering from the tumultuous Vietnam War years, and there were growing concerns about inflation. Despite all this, the penny was still a workhorse of American currency, constantly used in everyday transactions across the nation. But over time, some of these pennies would disappear, get damaged, or simply be lost to history. So, why should the 1973 penny catch your attention? Well, in the world of coin collecting, the value of a coin doesn't just depend on how much it was worth when it was minted. It's all about rarity, condition, and, sometimes, a bit of luck. You see, most 1973 pennies were heavily circulated, meaning they've been used in countless purchases and transactions over the years. This frequent use has caused most of them to experience wear and tear, making them less valuable. But here's the exciting part: finding a 1973 penny in uncirculated condition is like striking gold. These pristine specimens are incredibly rare, and coin collectors are constantly on the lookout for them. The key to the value of the 1973 penny lies in its condition. Most of the coins from this year show signs of being handled and circulated, but if you happen to find one that looks like it just came off the minting press, you've got a true treasure on your hands. These uncirculated coins are far more valuable than their counterparts that have been worn down over the years. And if you happen to find a 1973 penny in near-perfect condition, it could be worth a small fortune, but that's not all. There are also certain 1973 pennies with unique features that make them even more valuable. Some of these coins have rare minting errors, such as double strikes or off-center impressions. Error coins are highly sought after in the numismatic world because they are unique and often one of a kind. The more unusual the error, the higher the value of the coin. So, if you have a 1973 penny with a design flaw, it could be worth much more than a standard issue. Now, you're probably wondering, just how much can a 1973 penny be worth? Well, in average condition, these coins typically sell for just a few cents above their face value. But the real magic happens when you find one that's in exceptional condition or has a rare minting error. A 1973 penny that's uncirculated could easily fetch a few $100s, but if you're lucky enough to have one with an error, the value can skyrocket. Some collectors have paid thousands of dollars for a single 1973 penny with a unique flaw or exceptional quality. And while that's impressive, the highest recorded price for a 1973 penny will blow your mind. If you happen to have an uncirculated penny in perfect condition or one with a rare minting error, it could be worth as much as $58,000, that's right, $58,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe that something as small as a 1-cent coin could hold such immense value, but it's true. Coin collectors are always searching for rare, pristine coins, and a 1973 penny in top condition or with a unique error is a dream find. So, before you toss any pennies into your coin jar or let them collect dust, take a moment to check them out. You might have a rare 1973 penny hiding right in front of you, just waiting to be discovered. Top 4, we have a special treat for you, a deep dive into the 1982 United States 1-cent coin. You might think of this penny as just another piece of spare change, but trust me, this little coin holds a secret that could make it worth thousands of dollars. Stick with us, and by the end of this video, you'll see why the 1982 penny is so much more than just a cent. Let's start by talking about the history of the 1982 penny. The 1980s were a time of great change for the United States, both socially and economically. In 1982, the country was in the midst of a major transition. The economy was recovering from the early 1980s recession, and inflation was a concern. On the coin front, the U.S. Mint made a significant change to the penny's composition that would play a huge role in the value of the 1982 penny. You see, the 1982 penny marked the year when the U.S. Mint switched from a pure copper composition to a copper-plated zinc composition. This change was made in response to rising copper prices, and it had a huge impact on the appearance and weight of the coin. While most 1982 pennies were made from copper-plated zinc, some were still made of the older copper alloy, and this is where things get interesting. The 1982 penny comes in two distinct varieties, the copper version and the zinc version. And the copper version is the one you'll want to keep an eye out for because it's incredibly rare. These copper pennies were minted only for part of the year before the switch was made to zinc. As a result, they are much harder to find, especially in mint or uncirculated condition. The rarity of the copper penny makes it highly sought after by collectors, which drives up its value. Now, let's talk about what makes this penny even more valuable. When it comes to rare coins, condition is everything. The 1982 copper penny in perfect, uncirculated condition can be worth a small fortune. If you happen to come across one of these pennies in near flawless condition, you could be holding on to a coin that's worth far more than a few cents. In fact, the value of a well-preserved 1982 copper penny can rise significantly, making it one of the most valuable pennies of the 1980s. But here's the kicker, there's even more value to be found in this coin if you happen to have one with a minting error. Yes, error coins are highly prized in the world of numismatics, and the 1982 penny is no exception. Some 1982 pennies were minted with defects like double strikes, off-center impressions, or even missing details. These minting errors make the coin even rarer, and collectors are always on the lookout for such unique pieces. If you have a 1982 penny with a noticeable error, it could be worth a lot more than you might expect. So, how much can you expect to sell your 1982 penny for? Well, in typical condition, a 1982 zinc penny is worth just a few cents above face value. However, if you have one of the rare copper versions in pristine condition, it could be worth hundreds of dollars. And if you're lucky enough to find one with a minting error, the value can skyrocket. But the biggest shocker comes when we talk about the absolute highest value recorded for a 1982 penny. You're probably thinking that a penny, no matter how rare, couldn't possibly be worth much more than a few $100s, right? Well, think again. Some collectors have paid a staggering $45,000 for a single 1982 penny. Yes, you heard that right, $45,000 for a single coin. So, the next time you're going through your spare change or digging through your coin jar, don't just toss aside those 1982 pennies. You might have a rare copper version or one with an error hiding among them, and if that's the case, you could be holding a treasure worth thousands of dollars. Top 5. We dive deep into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins. If you've ever wondered if your pocket change could be worth more than a cent, you're in for a treat today. In this video, we're focusing on the 1990 United States 1-cent coin, or the penny. Now, you might think, it's just another penny, right? Well, think again, because this little coin could be worth far more than you might expect. Stick around, because by the end of this video, we'll reveal a mind-blowing price for a 1990 penny. Let's rewind and take a quick look at the history of the 1990 penny. The early 1990s were a time of great change in the United States. The economy was shifting as the country was emerging from the late 1980s boom. Politically, George H.W. Bush was serving as president, and the nation was in the midst of both domestic challenges and international events. But in the world of coins, 1990 marked another year of the ongoing tradition of penny production. The U.S. Mint continued to produce the iconic Lincoln Memorial penny with the same design that had been in place for decades. But here's the thing, while most pennies from this year were minted and circulated just like any other, some of these coins have become highly sought after in the world of numismatics. You see, over time, certain years of pennies have developed a reputation for having rare, unique qualities that make them valuable to collectors. The 1990 penny is one of those coins. What makes the 1990 penny stand out from the rest? Well, it all comes down to condition and rarity. Like most pennies, the 1990 version was widely circulated, meaning the majority of them have suffered from wear and tear over the years. But the real treasure lies in finding a penny that is still in pristine condition. You see, collectors are always on the lookout for coins that haven't been damaged by heavy circulation, those coins that look as if they were freshly minted and never spent in daily transactions. If you have a 1990 penny that's in uncirculated or near mint condition, you're already on the right track. The value of these pennies skyrockets when they are in perfect or near perfect condition. As more time passes and coins continue to age and degrade, the value of well-preserved specimens becomes even more significant. So, what might have been worth just a penny when it was first minted could now be worth hundreds, or even thousands, of dollars. But it's not just about finding an uncirculated penny. Some 1990 pennies have rare features or minting errors that make them even more valuable. Error coins, whether it's a double strike, off-center minting, or other imperfections, are highly desirable in the world of collectors. These errors make the coin unique, and that uniqueness can drive up its price. If you have a 1990 penny with a noticeable error, you could be holding a coin that's worth much more than the face value. So, how much is a 1990 penny worth? In typical circulation, a 1990 penny is only worth its face value, just 1 cent. However, if you have one in uncirculated condition or one with a minting error, you could be looking at a much higher price. A pristine 1990 penny can easily be worth several $100s, depending on its condition. And for those rare error coins, the value could climb even higher, but here's the big surprise: the highest value ever recorded for a 1990 penny is absolutely astounding. Are you ready for it? If you have an uncirculated penny from 1990, or even one with an error, it could be worth as much as $42,000, that's right, $42,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe that something as small as a 1-cent coin could hold such a large value, but in the world of rare coin collecting, the right combination of rarity, condition, and sometimes even a bit of luck can make a huge difference. So, before you dismiss your pocket change or throw those 1990 pennies into a jar, take a closer look. You never know, you might just have a rare gem on your hands that could be worth thousands of dollars. Top 6. We're diving into the fascinating world of the 1978 1-cent coin, which, believe it or not, could be worth a small fortune. Stick with us as we explore its history, design, and why this seemingly ordinary penny could be worth far more than you ever imagined. The 1978 1-cent coin is part of a long history of U.S. pennies that date back to 1793. By the late 1970s, the penny had become a staple in everyday transactions, a symbol of the American economy. The year 1978, however, stands out as a time of significant change in the United States. The country was transitioning through the aftermath of the 1970s inflation crisis, and the economy was in the middle of a shift that would lead to some of the lowest inflation rates in the next decade. Despite these economic changes, the 1978 penny remains relatively common in circulation, but that's where the intrigue begins. While these pennies were produced in large quantities, a few of them hold rare qualities that can make them incredibly valuable for collectors today. And if you've got one of these hidden treasures, you might be holding on to more than just spare change. Like all U.S. pennies, the 1978 1-cent coin features the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, a design that has been in place since 1909. The obverse side of the coin, featuring Lincoln's image, was created by sculptor Victor David Brenner, and it's an emblem of Lincoln's leadership during the Civil War and his lasting impact on American history. On the reverse side, you'll find the famous Lincoln Memorial, which has adorned the back of the penny since 1959. This memorial, located in Washington, D.C., serves as a tribute to Lincoln's legacy and symbolizes unity, freedom, and the enduring values of the United States. But while the design remains timeless, the real value of the 1978 penny lies in its rarity and condition. This coin may seem like just another penny, but it's the subtle differences that can make it a goldmine for collectors. Let's be honest, the 1978 1-cent coin wasn't exactly rare when it was first minted. In fact, it was one of the many pennies circulated in the United States, and millions of them were produced that year. However, what makes this particular coin interesting is the condition. Most 1978 pennies you'll find are worn out from years of use. But if you happen to find one in pristine, uncirculated condition, you might be sitting on something valuable. When it comes to coin collecting, the condition of the coin is key. Coins that are in excellent, uncirculated condition, meaning they were never used in circulation, are much more desirable to collectors. These coins may have been carefully stored or kept as part of a collection. The shinier and more detailed the coin, the higher its potential value. But here's where it gets even more exciting. Some 1978 pennies have been discovered with minting errors that make them even more valuable. Minting errors occur when something goes wrong during the production process, resulting in a coin that is different from the intended design. These errors can range from double strikes, off-center strikes, or even missing elements of the design. One common error in 1978 pennies is the double die error, where the coin's design appears to be stamped more than once, creating a blurry or doubled image. This can happen on either side of the coin and makes the coin a one-of-a-kind collectible. Error coins are highly sought after by numismatists because they are rare, unique, and offer a glimpse into the fascinating process of coin production. If you happen to come across a 1978 penny with a minting error, you could be holding onto a piece of history that's worth far more than face value. Now, for the big reveal. You're probably wondering just how much a 1978 1-cent coin could be worth. Well, in perfect, uncirculated condition or with a rare minting error, a 1978 penny can be worth an astonishing $52,000, yes, you heard that right, $52,000 for a single penny. That's the power of a rare, well-preserved coin or one with a minting error. So, before you toss your pennies aside, take a moment to check if you might have a hidden treasure in your collection. So, the next time you're going through your spare change, don't forget to give those 1978 pennies a closer look. You could be holding onto a rare find that could be worth a small fortune. Top 7, we're bringing you a true gem from the United States, the 1972 1-cent coin. This seemingly ordinary penny may just be hiding a treasure trove of value. If you think pennies are all the same, think again. Stick around until the end, and we'll reveal just how much a 1972 penny could be worth on today's market. Let's set the stage. The year 1972 was an important time in American history. The country was in the midst of the Vietnam War, and President Richard Nixon was in office. Economically, the U.S. was experiencing inflationary pressures, but the 1970s were also a time of significant cultural shifts. Amidst all this, the U.S. Mint was busy at work producing billions of pennies to keep up with the nation's growing economy. The 1972 1-cent coin, while not particularly rare when it was initially minted, has since become a target for collectors. You see, while millions of these coins were produced, certain versions of this penny have become quite valuable, especially those with special characteristics that set them apart from the typical circulated penny. The 1972 penny features the same classic design that has graced the 1-cent coin since 1909, the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. Created by artist Victor David Brenner, this iconic image of Lincoln is a symbol of strength, leadership, and the country's preservation during one of its most tumultuous times, the Civil War. On the reverse side of the 1972 penny, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial. This design, introduced in 1959, honors the legacy of Lincoln and stands as a symbol of unity and freedom for the nation. The memorial is a fitting tribute to one of the greatest presidents in American history, and it makes the 1972 penny not just a piece of currency, but a powerful symbol of American values. While the design itself is familiar, what makes this coin particularly interesting is the condition and certain rare characteristics that can significantly increase its value. Now, you might be thinking, what's so special about a penny from 1972? Well, it's all about the condition and the rarity. The vast majority of 1972 pennies you'll come across are worn out and don't hold much value beyond their face value of 1 cent. However, there are certain 1972 pennies that are in pristine condition, and this is where things get interesting. Uncirculated coins, those that have never been used in everyday transactions, are highly sought after by collectors. These coins maintain their original shine and crisp details, making them much more valuable. So, if you happen to find a 1972 penny that looks as though it just came off the minting press, you could be looking at a highly valuable coin. But it's not just about condition. Some 1972 pennies have unique characteristics that make them even more valuable. Let's talk about minting errors. Minting errors are a collector's dream. These errors occur when something goes wrong during the coin's production, resulting in a coin that's different from the intended design. And when it comes to the 1972 penny, there are a few specific errors that make these coins incredibly valuable. One of the most well-known errors for the 1972 penny is the double die error. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned, causing the image to appear more than once on the coin. As a result, certain features of the penny, like Lincoln's portrait or the lettering, appear doubled. This error makes the coin a rare find, and collectors will pay top dollar for it. In addition to the double die error, there are also off-center strikes, missing details, and even the occasional wrong metal composition, which can add significant value to the coin. These rare variants are what make the 1972 penny a highly collectible piece of American history. So, just how much could a 1972 1-cent coin be worth? Well, if you've got one in excellent, uncirculated condition, or better yet, if it features a minting error like the double die, you could be sitting on a small fortune. In fact, a rare 1972 penny can be worth up to an incredible $56,000, yes, you heard that right, $56,000 for a single penny. That's the power of a well-preserved or error-struck coin in the world of numismatics. So, before you toss that 1972 penny aside, take a moment to really look at it. You might just have a valuable coin on your hands. Top 8, we're going to talk about a coin that you might just have lying around in your spare change, the 1984 1-cent coin. While it might seem like just another penny at first glance, this little coin could be worth a whole lot more than you think. Stick with us, because by the end of this video, you'll be amazed at just how much this 1984 penny could fetch in today's market. The 1984 1-cent coin was minted during an interesting time in U.S. history. The country was experiencing steady economic growth after the 1980s recession, and President Ronald Reagan was re-elected for a second term. Meanwhile, the U.S. Mint was busy producing billions of pennies to keep up with the economy and currency demands. Though the 1984 penny was produced in large quantities, most of them were used in everyday transactions and have since worn out over time. However, there's something special about the 1984 1-cent coin that makes it highly collectible. In fact, there are a few key features that could make this penny worth far more than its face value. But we'll get to that in a minute. Let's take a closer look at the design of the 1984 penny. As with most pennies, the obverse side features the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, which has graced the 1-cent coin since 1909. This design, created by sculptor Victor David Brenner, honors Lincoln's leadership during the Civil War and his significant role in preserving the Union. On the reverse, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, introduced in 1959 as a tribute to Lincoln's legacy. The memorial represents unity, freedom, and the enduring values of the United States. It's a symbol of strength and resilience, just like Lincoln himself. While the design is classic and timeless, the real value of the 1984 penny comes down to the condition and some rare variations that can significantly increase its worth. Now, here's where it gets interesting. While the 1984 penny was minted in the billions and seems pretty common, the condition of these coins plays a huge role in their value. Most of the 1984 pennies you'll come across today have been used in circulation for decades, which means they've likely suffered from wear, scratches, and discoloration. However, if you happen to find a 1984 penny in mint or uncirculated condition, you've got something special on your hands. Coins that have never been used in circulation are highly prized by collectors. These coins maintain their original shine and sharp details, making them far more valuable than a worn-out penny. So, if you find a 1984 penny that looks as good as the day it was minted, it could be worth a lot more than just 1 cent, but there's even more to this story. Some 1984 pennies have been struck with rare minting errors, which can make them even more valuable. Minting errors occur when something goes wrong during the production process, and these mistakes create unique, one-of-a-kind coins that collectors are eager to get their hands on. For example, one of the most sought-after errors for the 1984 penny is the double die error. This happens when the coin is struck twice by the die, causing the details to appear more than once. This results in a blurry or doubled image, and collectors will pay top dollar for a 1984 penny with this error. Other types of minting errors include off-center strikes, where the design is not properly aligned, and the occasional lamination errors, where small flakes of metal peel off the surface of the coin. These kinds of errors make the coin unique, and collectors love having something that stands out from the crowd. Now, you're probably wondering just how much a 1984 1-cent coin could be worth if it's in great condition or has one of these rare errors. Well, here's the exciting part. A 1984 penny in pristine, uncirculated condition, or one with a significant minting error, could be worth an incredible $42,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single 1984 penny could be worth $42,000. So, if you have any 1984 pennies lying around, it might be worth taking a closer look at them. You could be sitting on a small fortune. So, the next time you come across a 1984 penny, don't just toss it into the jar. Take a moment to inspect it closely. You could have a rare find on your hands that's worth far more than you ever expected. Top 9. We're diving into the fascinating world of the United States 1-cent coin from 1964. This little penny might look like just another piece of old change, but trust me, it holds a secret value that will blow your mind. So stick around, and let's explore why this 1964 penny might be worth a lot more than you think. Before we get into the jaw-dropping value, let's take a quick trip back in time. The 1-cent coin, or penny, has been a staple of American currency for centuries, but 1964 was a particularly interesting year in U.S. history. In 1964, the United States was in the midst of major changes. The country was navigating through the aftermath of World War II, and there was economic growth alongside the turbulent social and political shifts of the 1960s. The 1964 penny was part of a batch of coins produced just before a major shift in U.S. coinage. You see, before 1982, U.S. pennies were primarily made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, which gave them their distinctive weight and color. After 1982, the composition changed to mostly zinc with a thin copper coating. This makes the 1964 penny particularly desirable to collectors because it was part of the last batch of coins made with the older, copper-rich formula. Now, let's talk about the design. The 1964 penny features the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's portrait has been a constant on the penny since 1909, and it remains one of the most recognizable images in U.S. coinage. On the reverse, you'll find the words E pluribus unum and the depiction of a simple, yet elegant, wheat stalk design, something that made pennies from this era stand out. But what makes this coin even more special is the overall condition it was kept in. Coins from 1964 were heavily circulated, meaning most of them have been through years of wear and tear. However, if you happen to stumble upon a 1964 penny in mint condition, especially one that's never been in circulation, you could be holding a treasure in your hands. So, what makes the 1964 1-cent coin so valuable? The answer lies in both rarity and condition. Though millions of these pennies were minted, very few have survived in pristine condition. Over the years, most 1964 pennies have been lost, damaged, or simply worn down by time and circulation. But a well-preserved, uncirculated penny from this year is incredibly rare. If a penny from 1964 is in perfect condition, it can become a goldmine for collectors looking to add to their collections. This rarity, combined with the growing demand from collectors who seek out pristine examples of older coins, boosts the value of these pennies. Some specific 1964 pennies, especially those that were made with an error during the minting process, can fetch an even higher price, increasing the appeal of this particular coin. Speaking of errors, another factor that can add even more value to a 1964 penny is if it has a minting flaw or a unique variant. There are examples of 1964 pennies that were minted with slight imperfections, such as double die errors, where the design was struck twice, causing the image to be slightly misaligned. These error coins are a collector's dream, as they are unique and much rarer than regular examples. Coins like these often go for far more than their face value, and their price can rise dramatically in the market. If you have a 1964 penny with any unusual characteristics, it could be worth investigating further, as it might just be a rare variant with an exceptional price tag. So, the big question: just how much could a 1964 1-cent coin be worth? Are you ready for this? A 1964 penny in perfect, uncirculated condition, or better yet, one with an error or rare variant, could be worth a staggering $61,000. That's right, a single penny could have a price tag that might leave you speechless. Who would have thought that a simple coin worth just 1 cent when it was minted could be worth such a fortune today? If you're digging through your change or looking through your old coin collection, make sure to keep an eye out for the 1964 penny. It might be worth a lot more than you ever imagined. Top 10 and last rare coin, we're going to talk about a penny that you probably never thought twice about, the 1993 1-cent coin. Most people see this coin as just another piece of change, but what if I told you that this penny could be worth a small fortune? Stick around until the end, and I'll reveal exactly how much this 1993 penny could be worth today. Let's start by taking a look back at 1993. It was a year that marked a transition for the United States. Bill Clinton was inaugurated as the 42nd President of the United States, and the country was dealing with economic challenges as it moved away from the 1980s boom and into a new era. In the world of currency, the U.S. Mint was busy producing billions of pennies to keep up with inflation and the economy. The 1993 penny, like its counterparts, was minted in large quantities and used in everyday transactions. However, over time, some of these pennies have become quite rare and valuable. And no, we're not just talking about the pennies you find lying around in your spare change. The true value lies in the condition and certain rare characteristics that make this coin a collector's dream. Let's take a moment to appreciate the design of the 1993 penny. As with most pennies, the obverse side features the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln. This design, created by Victor David Brenner, has graced the 1-cent coin since 1909. Lincoln's image is iconic and represents leadership, resilience, and the preservation of the Union during the Civil War. On the reverse side, we see the Lincoln Memorial, which has been a symbol of unity and freedom since it was introduced in 1959. The memorial is a tribute to Lincoln's legacy and a reminder of the strength and perseverance of the American people. While the design has remained mostly unchanged over the years, it's the specific details of the 1993 penny that may hold hidden value for collectors. Now, let's talk about what really makes the 1993 penny stand out. The majority of these coins were used in daily transactions and have probably endured a fair bit of wear and tear. However, in the world of numismatics, it's not just about rarity, it's also about condition. The 1993 penny might seem like a common coin, but finding one in uncirculated condition is not as easy as it sounds. These uncirculated pennies are highly sought after because they are in pristine condition, shiny, with sharp, clear details, and no signs of damage from daily use. These uncirculated coins are rare, and collectors are willing to pay a premium for them. So, if you happen to have a 1993 penny that looks like it just came from the mint, you're holding something that could be worth a lot more than just 1 cent. Here's where things get even more exciting. Some 1993 pennies were struck with minting errors, which can make them incredibly valuable. Minting errors are a numismatist's dream, and they can happen when something goes wrong during the production process. These errors create unique coins that stand out from the rest, and collectors are often willing to pay top dollar for them. For example, one of the most desirable types of errors in the 1993 penny is the double die error. This happens when the die used to strike the coin shifts or becomes misaligned, causing the image to appear doubled. If you come across a 1993 penny with this error, it could be worth a small fortune. Other minting errors could include off-center strikes, where the design is improperly aligned on the coin, or even the occasional wrong metal composition. These unique variations are exactly what collectors are looking for, and they can dramatically increase the value of the coin. So, just how much could a 1993 1-cent coin be worth? Well, if you have one in mint or uncirculated condition, or even better, if you've got one with a rare minting error like the double die, you could be sitting on a coin worth an incredible $38,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $38,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe, but that's the power of a well-preserved or error-struck coin in the world of collecting. So, the next time you come across a 1993 penny, don't just toss it aside. Take a moment to check its condition and look for any unique characteristics. You could be holding on to a valuable piece of American history. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss our latest discoveries. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting.